up, everyone? Welcome to the morning tea. I'm Alex Shipman, and I am joined to my right by my wonderful co-host.
Good morning, everyone. I am Courtney Revolution. Welcome to the morning tea. Good morning, Alex Schiffman. How are you feeling today? How was your night last night? Hang on, Dolly.
I am feeling very wonderful today, Courtney, because it is a thick Thursday, to be exact. I mean, we have so much to talk about on the show today, of course, good and bad. And then our favorite segment, Watch With Us, will be later on in the show. But before we get into that, Courtney, we got to talk about something because you know how we've been missing our girl Lizzo. You know, she's been a little MIA. We've seen her here and there. Well, I don't know if you've seen the cover of Vogue this October issue.
No.
They announced
Lizzo's on the cover?
About an hour ago, I saw on Twitter that Lizzo is in a gorgeous red dress on the cover of Vogue, the October issue. You got to check it out, Courtney, because she is looking good as hell, might I say. Right?
Yes. She is it. Little Red Riding Hood could never is here. Yes. We gonna see the Wiz, girl. Woo!
I mean,
she looked good.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion on Time yesterday. Now we got Lizzo on Vogue. I mean, this is a great week. And then in the article, of course, she touches on police violence, voting, and the appropriation of the body positivity movement. So not only is she looking amazing, she also gets really deep and opens up about a lot of important issues. So I can't wait after the show. T-Tribe, we got to check this out because she's looking good. You know what I mean?
You know, I've been saying, Alex, that Lizzo needed a break. I was glad that she went to her island styling, minding her business, eating good, girl. I think I went on Instagram one day and she was showing us how to make jackfruit. And y'all know I used to work at the Superfood Cafe, so I know it's all about how to use jackfruit to make a good carnitas nachos bowl. So shout out to Lizzo. It's good to see her back. She looks happy, healthy, and I'm gonna read that as soon as I find time today. Believe that.
Right after the show, T-Tribe. Speaking of the T-Tribe, of course, if you're new here, we love to hear where are you watching from. Let us know in the chat. We know this goes international. The morning tea goes to South Africa. Yeah. It goes to Jamaica some days. It goes to New Jersey. It goes all over, and we love to see it in the chat. Thank you, Gabby. She says, love your top, Alex. It's giving fall vibes. You know what? We didn't mention it on the show, but it's officially fall, everybody. So I brought out a little pumpkin spice top because I know, Courtney, you love your pumpkin latte. And so I thought I would share fall vibes.
Alex, you said it was fall. I looked out the window, girl. The sun is shining like it's the 4th of July, girl. Now we need some clouds. We need some doom and gloom. We need some rain, girl. We need the wind. Let the rain fall down.
Welcome to LA, because LA, we don't have seasons. You know, it may be fall inside, but outside we still got the sun. But Courtney, how was your night? Did you catch up on anything? I know you've been very busy this week, so did you do anything or watch anything you tell us about?
What did I watch? I watched something yesterday, Alex, and I actually honestly don't remember what it was. Oh my God, that's so weird. Oh, you know what I did watch recently though, and I caught up on really quick? Real Housewives of Potomac, Alex, just to give you the quick synopsis. So basically the season has been teasing, because, you know, the season was supposed to premiere earlier in the summer, but, you know, we had COVID and stuff like that. So they had been teasing sort of an altercation between two ladies, Monique and Candace. And if you're a viewer of Real Housewives of Potomac, Alex, you know that your Candace might not be your favorite. However, watching the show, you know how they tease and tease and tease. As it was getting closer to the altercation, you could sort of feel yourself being like, oh, well, I kind of see where Candace is coming from. Because you're kind of like, oh, well, Monique, get her together. Everybody love Monique. But I don't know after this particular situation that occurred how I feel about Miss Monique. So we're going to have to see on Sunday. I'm very excited, Alex. Real Housewives of Potomac is slowly falling up my list.
Yeah, I got to get into Potomac. I heard this season is like the best of all the seasons so far. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Girl, Ashley and her husband, girl. He cheating, girl. He got the boyfriend and the wife at home, girl. Y'all, it's the best.
Oh, whoa. This sounds crazy. All right, I got to get into it. But speaking of getting into it, T-Tribe, let me just let you know what's on the show today, because we have a lot to talk about. Of course, we're talking about the outcry over the results of Breonna Taylor's case yesterday. Pretty shocking. To Gigi and Zayn welcoming a new baby girl into the world. We're also talking about Jordyn Woods' new boyfriend. It was a rumor, but maybe it's confirmed now. Then we're getting into Kris Jenner's appearance on Ellen yesterday. She touched on those Real Housewives of Beverly Hills rumors. We got some answers. And then more info surrounding Khloe and Tristan. I mean, they're good. They're good to go. And of course, our OMG story of the day, Kanye West continuing to fight for a piece of the pie with the music industry and Gap and all of that. I mean, Kanye is not stopping. He is going for the gold. So we will get into that. Stick around for that later in the show. Plus, of course, we also have my girl Naz Perez joining us today for our Watch With Us segment. Naz will be telling us all about what we need to be watching in the coming weeks. And thank God, because I don't know about you, Courtney, but I'm starting to run out of shows. I mean, the Housewives are in between seasons and I have nothing else to watch. So we need some help. You know what I mean? So stick around for what later on in the show. So I think it's about that time, Courtney. But before we get into it, I see our girl Mika in the chat. So let's do a little 5, 6, 7, 8.
Miss Mika, nice to meet ya. Miss Mika, she on fleeka. Miss Mika, she loves the tea-ya. And we see ya. Miss Mika, go Mika, go Mika, go, go, go Mika. Happy Thick Thursday to our good sis Mika. And as always, shout out to Nebraska. Bam.
Yes, shout out to Nebraska and Miss Mika and everyone else joining us just now. We have a great show. And we got to get into it. So, of course, we kick it off with You Missed It. Now, these are all the stories that were trending overnight that you may have missed. Don't worry. We got it for you. And first up, we're talking some really difficult stuff yesterday. Oh, yes, Courtney. Pour up that hot water because we have a lot to go. Let's cheers.
Cheers.
To this third.
To the tough job.
The tough job and tough stories we deal with on some days. And here's one of them. So people around the country reacted with anger and disappointment over the results of a grand jury's findings regarding the case of Breonna Taylor in Kentucky yesterday. So the court indicted only one of the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's murder and on charges unrelated to her passing. The other two officers involved in the raid that led to Breonna's murder were not indicted on any charges whatsoever. Now, the findings set off a tidal wave of anger and pain across the country as protesters who had been demonstrating for months took back to the streets and social media to express their feelings towards the injustice carried out in the Kentucky court yesterday. So a lot of celebrities became involved, such as Alicia Keys, Viola Davis, Justin Bieber, and Selena Gomez, to name a few. They all expressed their outrage via social media. Alicia said, quote, "This is a prime example of rotten to the core, unjust, disrespectful, and blatant disregard, infuriated." Viola Davis took to her Twitter to say, "Bull decision. Black Lives Matter cannot be said enough times." Justin Bieber also, shared on social media, quote, "Shame on you, Kentucky. Breonna Taylor deserves justice. And to top it off, they're imposing a curfew to silence protesters. What an effing joke of a system." So, Courtney, I have to hear your thoughts on this. Of course, the celebrities have been involved in the Black Lives Matter movement for the past few months. This is just another example of celebrities using their platforms for good and in order to kind of support the movement. So how do you feel about this, just this tough decision?
Firstly, I want to say if you're watching this and you're an after sipper, I'm glad this is the first story. So I want to ask the after sippers who are not live with us today to please share your thoughts on the verdict of Brianna, absolutely, in the comments and also in the chat. For me, Alex, I think what really bothers me the most is just the fact that, of course, Brianna was put on the merch, charged the police officers that murdered Breonna Taylor, and she almost kind of became a caricature of the movement that she was the face of, because all of the visibility, all of the protest, all of um, the reach of this, people in other countries saying, charge the officers that murdered Breonna Taylor, and look where we are today. And I understand that for some people, a lot of people are upset. They feel helpless. They feel hopeless. But I do think it is very important to always raise your voice on issues like this where you feel comfortable. And always attempt to keep the hope alive. And in times where positivity can seem so rare to find, you have to look within yourself and keep a positive spirit, keep a positive energy, and always continue to educate yourself on issues that affect all of us, but always specifically the people that are viewed as oppressed by the system by some. I found the verdict to just be very disappointing, Alex. It made me sick to my stomach, to answer your question, But I'm glad that celebrities have been speaking out in her honor and her name.
Right. And they'll continue to speak out. And I really don't think this is the end of this. Unfortunately, this is a decision that many, many people disagree with. And I really think that it's not the end for Breonna Taylor. I really,
No,
I think we will be hearing about this for a very long time until justice is served. Very, very hard. But
yes,
let's move on from this on a little more lighter note, celebratory note for Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik. They announced the birth of their daughter late yesterday. Zayn took to social media to share with the world his joy over becoming a new dad. He said, quote, "Our baby girl is here, healthy and beautiful. To try to put into words how I'm feeling right now would be an impossible task. The love I feel for this tiny human is beyond my understanding. Grateful to know her, proud to call her mine, and thankful for the life we will have together." Gigi also posted this sweet photo to Instagram with the caption, quote, "Our girl joined us Earthside this weekend, and she's already changed our world. So in love." Now, the couple was swarmed with outpourings of love from friends and fans after the announcement, with Hailey Bieber, Emily Ratajkowski, Courtney Kardashian, and more sending lots of love to the new parents. And the baby's name, as of now, has not been released. Isn't this crazy that this, baby came before kind of the release of Zayn's, new single and everything? It's like, it's a publicist's dream. Like, it couldn't be more perfect to have the baby kind of bring his new chapter of music into the world, so to speak. And congrats to the couple. I mean, I'm interested to see Zayn as a dad. Gigi has sort of a maternal, sweet kind of side to her that we have seen, but Zayn's a little more mysterious. We know he's emotional through his music, but as a father, I can't even imagine. How do you feel about this, Courtney?
I'm excited to see Zayn be a father as well. I think something that just makes me feel good was throughout all of this, Zayn has been working. Throughout his absence, throughout the silence, he's been working. So, you know what? I'm not exactly mad at him lining up the release of his new music with the birth of his child, because it's been so long. And also, it's not linked with like messy news or like a negative, chaotic situation. I'm very happy for them. Congrats to them. That's a good couple, Gigi and Zayn.
Congrats. I know. And, they're still so young. So, it'll be interesting to see them as kind of young parents, and they're in that kind of, new age, young Hollywood crowd with the Kendall Jenners and all that. So it'll be interesting to see kind of Gigi as a mother versus, being single and going out and doing, young single things. So I'm interested to see how it all plays out. But speaking of young and single, Jordyn Woods may not be single, but still young. She celebrated her 23rd birthday yesterday with a very busy day flying around town with rumored boyfriend, NBA player Karl Anthony Towns. Now, Jordan's golden birthday included quad biking in the desert, partying with friends in the hills, an evening boat ride with a very curious seal, and birthday celebrations in the backyard. So the key to all of this was the inclusion, of course, of Karl Anthony Towns, who Jordan has been rumored to have been dating since April. Now, while sources tried to downplay the rumors last month, pics coming out of the birthday celebrations include one with some suspect hand placement on Karl Anthony's part. I don't know if you saw, he had it on her booty in the photo, and some fun dancing on the boat ride. So overall, there it is. Overall, it looked like Jordan had an amazing birthday and was able to spend it with, the people she loved. What do you think of the rumors? Do you think that this is an official couple? How do you feel, Courtney?
If Jordan was my homegirl, I would be giving her the high five. She better run off into the sunset with that fine man. Talking about her happy ending, girl. That's the happy ending right there, girl. She said, "This my goat here, girl, and I got this fine man by my side. It ain't gonna be nothing but securing the bags, good hair, and happiness." She looks happy, and I think that that's the thing that made me be like, the most out of all of it. The fine man and the happiness. So shout out to Miss Jay Woods.
Well, speaking of securing the bags, she literally secured 3 bags. He bought her 3 purses. She posted in her Instagram. One of them is like a Chanel purse that is completely diamonds. The entire purse. It's amazing. T-Tribe, I don't know if you saw this, but yeah, it was like 2 Hermes purses and then this diamond Chanel. And she tagged Karl Anthony Towns on the photo, so I just made the assumption that he was the one, of course, that purchased these for her. But she's securing the bags, 3 of them. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Go off, girl. Shout out to Jordan's. Listen, Jordan doing what she needs to do is have a fine man that buy her bags and live her happily ever after in a beautiful home. Shout out to her.
I know. Can you give us one of those bags? You got 3. There's 1, 2, 3. She can keep the diamond. It's her birthday.
Sharing
You
is
and
caring,
I.
girl. That's what my mama taught me.
T5, let us know. Do you think this is kind of Jordan's confirmation? She kind of snuck it in between the Insta stories. She must have had like 100. She reposted, like, everyone wished her a happy birthday. The girl was loved on her birthday. But she snuck that one with his hand on her kind of in the middle. So, you know how Ariana did that once with her boyfriend? Like, people like to do that on social media. Just kind of drop it. It's like a little tease
like, girl,
in the middle.
We clicking through every slide, girl. We clicking through every slide. You ain't slick, girl. This ain't just happy birthdays, girl.
Not just happy birthdays. We know we're going to get some tea, and we did. And so we think it's official. Let us know. Super Cool Jess is saying Jordan is thriving. She really is. Tiny Media said happy for Jordan. Wesley said, we're beautiful like diamonds in the purse. We are.
Period, Wesley.
He's saying Cat is a whole, Karl Anthony Towns is a whole man. Get it, Jordan. Tasha's saying congrats on the baby, Gigi, and congrats on Jordan on your new man. Yeah, we got a lot of congratulatory news on this Thick Thursday. All right, well, speaking of love, let's get into this relationship that we've talked about many times on the show. But in a new interview, Machine Gun Kelly admitted that it was love at first sight in regards to his relationship with Megan Fox. So he was speaking on the Howard Stern show, and MGK gushed over the romance. He said, quote, "I didn't know what love was until me and her made eye contact. That's when I was like, whoa. That was my first experience with being open to love and stuff like that. I definitely wasn't set up to believe that's something that could ever exist." So the couple, of course, met on the set of Midnight in the Switch Grass in Puerto Rico. They went public in May with a series of social posts that we've talked about, those black and white photos. Do you believe in love at first sight, Courtney? Do you think it's possible?
I believe in lust at first sight, and then maybe you love them after you get to know them. I don't believe in loving somebody without knowing them. And when I say no with them, you got to check off a couple boxes. You got to travel with them, girl. You got to meet the parents. You got to find out what they like when you ain't got no money. You got to find out what you're like when they ain't got no money. There's a lot of boxes that you need to check off before, in my opinion, before you could say that you love somebody and mean it. Like, you get what I'm saying? You could always be like, oh, girl, I love you. Oh, I love you too. So that you don't get no drama. You know how on TV, girl, there's always someone that's like, I love you. And the person's like, oh, thanks. That doesn't happen in real life. You either say it or you don't. And so I just feel like, sure, I guess, but I don't believe it personally for me. I want them to have babies. Can y'all have babies, Kels and
Already?
Miss Fox? I want y'all to, yeah, I need the Kels baby. I need it. Machine MGB instead of MGA. We need MGB, the machine gun baby. I need it next year. And I want the baby on the album cover. Shout out to Kels and shout out to Megan Fox. I like that couple. I don't know why. I just think that they look good together and they probably give off the same energy. Y'all know how I have a soft spot for Kels. I want him to have his happy ending as well. He's worked hard. And now he's pivoting to pop, not to go into a pop music moment, but he's pivoted to pop rock music, and now he's really thriving. So I want more good things for him.
Yeah. Listen, I believe in lust at first sight. I have been in lust at first sight many times, even with my current boyfriend. Like, there are you see that person from across the room, and you're like, that man or woman is going to be a special person in my life. Like, T-Tribe, back me up on here. There is lust at first sight, but I agree with you, Courtney. Love is a very serious thing, and to really, truly be in love, you got to go through some stuff. You got to do the relationship things. And even if you think you feel it, it's probably a little lust before love. However, everybody falls in love at different times in their life. Some people do it a little faster. The Bachelor, they got to do it in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I got to do it real quick. But I do believe that, it's possible. It is possible. Wesley says, Lust at First Sight, the title of my biography.
I'm buying it. Because I know it's going to be written very well. I'll be buying that, Wesley. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Right? Exactly. I mean, let's see what else. Cloud Mag says lust is true. Danny Lee says, I really love them together.
Danny says they would make a really cute baby.
They would. Karina says, I fell in love at first sight when I saw this memory foam mattress.
Listen, girl.
Hey.
That's it.
Listen.
A good mattress is so important, Alex. A mattress that will make you feel like you don't want to get out of bed is the one. Period.
The one. You don't need a man or woman if you got a memory foam mattress. That is all you need. That is love at first sight. Amazing. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time to sit back and relax, everyone, for one of my favorite segments, Watch With Us, where we learn all about the latest and greatest in TV, movies, and streaming. Coming to us from Rotten Tomatoes, where she hosts the catch-up. Give it up, T-Tribe, for my amazing friend, Miss Naz Perez.
Yes, I'm saying yes.
Hey, Naz, how are you?
Hey, Naz. Naz knows a lot about lust and love, right, Naz? Did you hear what we were talking about?
It's just me and my memory foam mattress. That's all I know, girl. It's just me and the mattress.
Love. It's love at first sight, isn't it?
It is. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you're right, Courtney. Like, a memory foam mattress is probably the most essential thing. Like, especially this year over any other year. You know what I mean?
Girl, I ain't getting out of mine.
T-Tribe, you know how this works. Naz is going to break down all the things that we must binge over the weekend. She is going to let us know what is hot right now so we can get in on some new shows. So, Naz, what do you got for us this week?
All right, guys. Well, I have a Netflix extravaganza for you guys. Again, like I always say, if you don't know what to watch, head on over to RottenTomatoes.com. We have this section on our website called Binge Central. It is the most useful thing, and there's a bunch of lists of what to watch. And my favorite thing on there right now is the best shows and series on Netflix. So just so you guys know, we actually update that every month. And there's over 168 titles on there. So you'll never run out of things to watch. So I sort of wanted to curate a list, in honor of that list. So starting with a film coming out in less than a week called The Boys in the Band, coming out September 30th on Netflix. This is another, Ryan Murphy extravaganza. I guess it's my favorite word today. And low-key, guys, I feel like Ryan Murphy should be giving me like commission, because don't you feel like every time I come on your show, I'm like telling you about like a Ryan Murphy show? Well, this was I'm so excited to tell you guys about this because I didn't know that it actually was originally a play. It's an adaptation of a Tony Award winning and game-changing play by Mark Crowley. So the play was revolutionary when it came out in 1968. It actually sparked a revolution because it put gay men's lives on stage sort of unapologetically, without judgment, in a world that wasn't willing to fully accept them. So basically the film, what's cool is that this play came out like way back in the day, then came out again with a cast, and the same cast of that play is the cast of this movie. So you have Matt Bomer, Jim Parsons, who we just saw in Hollywood. And basically it's about a group of gay men that all get together in this New York City apartment in 1968. Like I said, when being gay was considered to be best kept behind closed doors, they get drunk, they party, and the evening slowly exposes, the lines between their friendship and themselves. And then one of the characters' straight college roommates shows up unexpectedly. And so each man is sort of challenged to confront these like long buried truths about themselves. I haven't seen, a big production in a minute. I feel like that is just centered around gay men's lives, and the dialogue is just so incredible. It's very moving. It's funny. I cried at the end. So don't miss out on Boys in the Band, coming out less than a week from today.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that, girl. That's got my 2 top G's, good and gay. So my eyes will definitely be peeled just for the Boys in the Band, girl. I'm gonna be Josie and the Pussycats with a tambourine on the side. I'm in the band too, girl. Jing-a-ling-ling-ling. That's it.
There is a little dance number, Courtney, so maybe you'll get in on that. Actually, I'm really curious to see what you think of it. What were you gonna say, Alex?
Well, what I was gonna say is I gotta get in on this Ryan Murphy crew, because if you get in with Ryan Murphy, you will be casted in 15 of his projects. And you know what I mean? And I love it. And I want to know, how do we just get us in the Ryan Murphy club,
I know. How do we get in on that? You know what's cool too? Andrew Rannells is in this. I don't know if you guys remember him from Girls. I mean, he's in a bunch of stuff, obviously, he came from Book of Mormon, but he's also in this too. But yeah, you're right. There's there's a couple other cast members that are sort of Ryan Murphy, favorites. And yeah, we got to get in on this because he's got that $300 million deal with Netflix. He ain't going anywhere.
Well, he better keep delivering like pizzas.
Exactly. Right. And neither are you, Nat. So what else do you got for us to watch on Netflix?
Okay, I'm so excited to tell you guys about this next show because it's not a new show, but it's Schitt's Creek. If you haven't heard the word Schitt's Creek, hopefully you have heard about them, since this past weekend because they just sweeped the Emmys. But basically it was this little show from Canada that was on Pop TV. There's 6 seasons total, and it gained worldwide popularity when Netflix picked it up. But Netflix only has 5 seasons right now, and the 6th season comes out October 7th, and it's 100% certified fresh on the tomato meter. If you don't know what Schitt's Creek's about, it's a show that's about a wealthy family. They're called the Roses. They basically lose all their money, and they're forced to move to this small town that they own called Schitt's Creek that they bought as a joke. It's literally so funny. They took home 9 Emmys this weekend. And yeah, it stars Eugene Levy, who's just a Hollywood icon. His son, Dan Levy, they sort of co-created it. Catherine O'Hara's in it. She's another icon. She plays the funniest narcissist on TV named Moira Rose. The sister is played by Alexis Murphy, and all 4 of them, I don't know why I held up 8, but all 4 of them won an acting Emmy this weekend, which is just a testament to how outstanding the acting really is on this show. And not only is it funny, it's a show about love, inclusivity, family. So if you guys have never never seen Schitt's Creek, like definitely binge the first 5 seasons right now on Netflix and get excited for the final season because it's definitely the best one. It'll leave you crying, laughing. And this show is really just like the show to be watching right now, you know?
It truly is. It's one of my favorites, and I love that they swept the Emmys this weekend. And Catherine O'Hara is amazing in it. I mean, everyone is amazing, but her character is unbelievable. What's great about this too, T-Tribe, is like they're only 30 minutes, so you only need to sit down on the couch, and it's easy to binge too, right, Naz?
It's so easy to binge, and it's such a feel-good show. And I agree, like Catherine O'Hara's character, Moira Rose, she wears all these different wigs on the show. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Did I freeze?
Yeah. No.
Oh, man. Did my face look really fat when I was frozen?
No.
That's like my biggest fear. Okay, anyways, yeah, Moira Rose, she wears all these different wigs. And you know what's funny, Alex? I was reading that they gave her 8 to 10 wigs to choose from every day she showed up on set, a new one. And she would just grab, oh no, I froze again.
No, you're not.
Forget it. Okay. Oh, I thought I got free. I'm freezing on my end. So they gave her 8 to 10 wigs to choose from. And so she would impulsively just pick one out, you know, right before she'd go on set. And sometimes she'd throw them on backwards. So I'm really happy she took home an Emmy for that role because it's just outstanding. And she's incredible.
I've only seen a few episodes of it, but I wanted to say that something I didn't realize, I don't be looking into stuff before I just watch it. It's like usually, you know, you recommend something, Naz, and I'm like, oh, well, Naz said it, I'm gonna watch. And I really enjoyed the fact that it was really short. Like before I knew it, the episode is over. And so that's delightful for me. So now I'm probably gonna wait until it's the next season premieres and then go and watch all of it. Because I haven't seen a lot of it, maybe only the first couple episodes.
Yeah. You would love it. I mean, it's a beautiful story, and Dan Levy deserves all the awards for it. And his character is a beautiful arc on it. And I really love Schitt's Creek. So yeah, that's my show.
All right. So what else are you recommending today on Netflix, Naz?
Okay, so I have another film for you guys. So The Boys in the Band was a film. Schitt's Creek is a show. I have another film for you guys. You may not have heard of this. This film came out of Sundance. And it's 95% fresh on the tomato meter. And it's called The 40-Year-Old Version, not virgin like the movie, version, like a version of something. And this is about a woman named Rada. And she's basically this New York playwright. She's desperate for a breakthrough before she turns 40 years old. And when her last shot at success basically goes south, she's like left having to reinvent herself as a rapper called Rodimus Prime. And she alternates between the worlds of hip hop and theater while she's like trying to find her true voice. Lena Waithe produced this, and Rada Blank, the woman who stars in it, she actually wrote and directed it. And it's just a very candid and like very personal, but also hilarious debut from her. What I also love about the film is that it's in black and white. They shot it on 35mm film. If you guys like those like New York films, it's a very like snapshot of New York. You know, it feels like a very New York movie. I really love it. It was so personal, so hilarious. The Hollywood Reporter called it funny, thought-provoking, wholly original. And I think this is just the beginning of what we're going to see from Rada Blank, because she's it, man. It's really good. So if you guys want something different that you think you normally wouldn't turn on or wouldn't watch, I highly recommend 40-Year-Old Version. Again, that's coming out October 9th.
See, that sounds like a really good story. I really love, all of the reboots and reimaginings of our favorites, but there's something about like an original story like this that will really move me to be like, ooh, I want to check this out. Something new, something different.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we need to like switch it up. You know, sometimes we get in the groove of watching the same things over and over again. And, you know, that's what's so great about all these streaming platforms is that all these original stories and stories, even of people of color, are being told now. And so I definitely think this is one to check out, especially if you love hip hop, because she like freestyle raps in it. I love rap. Like I love rapping, and I just love rap in general. And her freestyles are so hilarious. Like I was dying laughing.
Naz, you can rap. You wanna rap for us?
You want to drop a rap? Hey, I can rap as fast as Twista, but I'm scared there'll be some curse words in it. Let's see. Girl, see you in them apple bottom jeans shit. On your back, I want to know your name. Girl, since I can throw your brains, put you in the chameleon 04 range. She'll sexy me, smoke that thing. Drinking like a chicken when you throw that thing. She got me hotter than the way that she talks. So I'm loving the way she talks.
Girl, you better burn my eyebrows off, girl.
I love putting Naz on the spot. This is what I'm here to do.
Alex, I know you're my favorite. Let's just say I've had a lot of free time in 2020.
No, but back to the 40-year-old version. What I love about this also is that it highlights like life right now and kind of reinventing yourself. And I love the female kind of empowerment that you're not too old to do anything, that we can do something at any age. We can reinvent ourselves. That's what I love about this. So I'm excited to watch this, definitely.
Yeah, Alex, you hit the nail on the coffin. It's so true. It's like, and for those people that feel like they're never sort of fulfilling their dreams, it's always ongoing. So not only is this, funny and different, it's also very inspiring.
Awesome. All right, else you have us. We don't have to
so on the what?
We don't even have to switch streaming services. We are just here and sitting and watching. So I love it.
I know. I'm telling you guys, I'm making it super easy for you. So on the same day, October 9th, that the 40-year-old version comes out, we also have The Haunting of Bly Manor. So if you guys are super into horror, and if you loved, it's the Haunting anthology series on Netflix. So if you loved The Haunting of Hill House, this is sort of like the next highly anticipated chapter of that sort of franchise, I guess I would call it. It's from Mike Flanagan. I just love him so much. And so this one is set in 1980s England. And so basically what happens is after an au pair dies this tragic death, this man hires an American nanny to take care of his orphan niece and nephew who live at Bly Manor with like a chef, a housekeeper, and a groundskeeper. Obviously, not all is what it seems in like this super creepy house because, there are like centuries of dark secrets about love and loss just waiting to be unearthed in it. I'm going to admit to you guys, I actually never watched Haunting of Hill House, but like I said, I love Mike Flanagan. He directed Dr. Sleep. And so I was like, all right, I got to hop on this franchise on Netflix now. But then I was like, well, how scary could it be? Like I love horror and I just feel like some horror shows just aren't that scary to me. Let me tell you guys. Towards the end of the first episode, there is a scene where my heart was beating so fast, like faster than when I'm in an earthquake in LA by myself. Like it was so scary. It is being described as like a chilling gothic romance too. So I'm hoping to see, some good romance in the series down the line. I've only watched the first episode, but yeah, if you guys are into like creepy little kids, an American, nanny stuck abroad, having to watch them, you'll be into Bly Manor. And if you loved Haunting of Hill House and you want to know how it compares, I actually took a critic's review off RottenTomatoes.com, and it was off TV Line, and he said that this one is as gripping and grounded as its predecessor. So I think if you're a fan of Haunting of Hill House, you're definitely going to love Haunting of Bly Manor.
Courtney, are you a big horror fan?
Listen, Alex, I very much am a big horror fan. Remember, girl, I was telling you I'm gonna get the Freddy Krueger tattoo. However, I don't like things that are like just a little bit scary. So I like the fact that you said, Naz, that your heart was beating out of your chest, because now that makes me feel like I need to shut all my blinds, turn the lights off, and watch this with the wine, girl, because I love to scream, spill the wine everywhere, girl. That sounds like a good time. Yeah.
I feel like I like so badly want to watch a horror movie with you now, Courtney. And you too, Alex, obviously.
Girl, I go through the motions. Oh my God, girl, watch out.
Screaming in the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like, he's
I don't know if this is like too like funny, like, off weird to say, but I only like to watch shark movies and horror movies with my Black friends, because literally it is like they just literally scream at the screen, and it is like the best experience for me. So yeah,
I love that you said if you like creepy little kids, you would like this.
Alex, why are so creepy?
What? We are like that. Why are little kids so creepy in horror movies? You know what I mean? There's always a little kid.
It's because I feel like sometimes they hold the stare just a little too long, you know? They're like, hi.
Yeah, there she is. I mean,
Yeah.
what's also creepy is when they play like the lullabies in the horror movies, when they do that kind of juxtaposition of a lullaby and then like a knife, and you're like, what is happening in this?
Yeah, like with Annabelle and the doll. Yeah, no. It's so scary.
Exactly. All right, so we are ending this with this one I'm very excited for. It's called Social Distance.
Yes. Yeah. So obviously, again, on Netflix, this one comes out October 15th. Of course, you know, guys, I had to throw in some reality for you because I know you guys love reality. And this one's really interesting. So I think you're definitely going to want to write October 15th down in your calendar. So this show was made, cast, executed entirely remotely during quarantine. It's an 8-part anthology series, and it basically showcases like the power of the human spirit in uncertainty and isolation, aka all of our lives right now. And each episode is standalone, so they basically focus on a different person, different story, and their emotional experience that they go through when they have no choice but to communicate remotely and rely on technology to maintain any sense of connection, which is like basically what all three of us are doing right now. I know a lot of people may be thinking to themselves, well, you know, Naz, like I love TV for escapism. Like I don't want to be reminded of the state the world is in right now. So to those people, I just want to let you know that the point of this show is to actually provide people with like much needed catharsis while at the same time documenting like this crazy time that we're living in history, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's wild.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like, is it filmed by the people in that are being social? Like, is this kind of like Blair Witch Project-y? Like, I feel like a little.
It's gonna be Blair Witch girl, home girl, but you know, laptop girl.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Alex? That's something I haven't seen this one yet. Like I couldn't get like a screener for it. So I am actually really curious to find out. I'm assuming yes. Maybe they sent like a camera crew, you know, to like be in their house, but I'm assuming that these people are documenting it themselves, which is honestly an incredible thing to put together a Netflix show like this, an 8-part series on different stories. I just think, you know, so many people have been going through so many things during the pandemic, and we know what people in our close circle have been going through, but we don't really know how everyone has truly been affected by this around the world. We also don't know what the long-term ramifications of this is going to be, you know, like how is somebody going to be a year from now because of what happened this year? So I think much like, you know, reminding yourself you're not alone, it'll be nice to watch something like this.
I was just about to say that, Naz. I was going to say, you know, the fact that we don't know what's going on, how other people around the world are dealing with this, maybe watching this, we can find comfort in being like, well, at least I'm not just going through this alone. Like everyone sort of plays their part in what their role is in the pandemic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's more hope and togetherness in being alone. So I love that Netflix put this show together. So yeah.
Yes, and I love this togetherness that we get to share every single time you come on. So less alone, and of course brings us amazing recommendations. So thanks so much, Naz, for coming on the show again. T-Tribe, you know how this works. Let us know in the chat what your favorite recommendation Naz gave us, and we gotta go binge all this great stuff. So Naz, if they want more of you, where can they find you?
Yeah, guys. So please hit me up on my Instagram. I'd love to know, you know, it's right there. I'd love to know what you guys are currently streaming, what you're excited about. But of course, I'm on all the Rotten Tomatoes channels, on the Catch Up and Binge Guide, on their Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. But do not forget to hit up RottenTomatoes.com if you guys want to find out what to watch, especially on Netflix. Like I told you, my favorite list right now is the best shows and series on Netflix. We update it every month, over 168 titles. You'll never run out of things to watch. So yeah, thank you guys so much for having me, and happy binging.
Thanks for coming, Naz. It's always a pleasure, girl.
Love
Here's
you.
my BF.
Oh, you love that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I still can't tell the
I know. You'll never get it. It's fine.
I feel like my grandma right now on the computer.
Exactly. So we'll stick to rapping and recommendations, all right? The two R&Rs.
I'm so tired. I forgot I even did that. Oh, man. Please edit that out. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, girl.
Bye. She's an icon.
She is the best. She is the best. She has had a crazy week. Talking things at the Emmys and recommendations. So we were lucky to have her.
I didn't even get to tell you, Naz. Oh, girl, I hope you watch this back. Naz, girl, you had the beautiful gown on. I said, girl, you better go off with your garment, girl, with these fabrics, girl, with these threads, more. Let's get in my life off my Instagram, period.
Amazing. All right. Well, T-Tribe, hope you enjoyed Watch With Us. And of course, you know, make sure you catch all that. That's some good stuff. I can't wait to watch some of that. But
Me too.
It's about that time, Courtney. We're done with binging and we're on to the Car Jenners. Let us into those gates because it is time for our Car Jenner tea time, of course.
Alrighty, if you guys are all set for all of the tea from behind the Car Jenner gates, be sure to turn your volumes down for Car Jenner tea time. Hello, it's everyone in my studio, which is no one, just me.
Yes. Courtney, I just realized that you and Black were like Halloween. We actually we kind of do, not only are we doing fall, we're doing Halloween.
Y'all know about the Sailor Scouts? Which one of y'all Sailor Scouts is y'all favorite? Y'all know I'm a Jupiter girl. I wasn't trying to do too much, so I was because I will go off on a whole tangent about Miss Sailor Moon. Shout out to Serena. But yeah, girl, I love how we get a little spooky, girl. Ooh.
Yeah, we're getting and vibes. We're doing it all. All right, back to our Car Jenners. We got an update. Miss Chrissy opened up on Ellen yesterday about the decision to end Keeping Up with the Kardashians next year and her prospects to join the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast as well. So speaking about the decision to end the show, Chris said, quote, "It just sort of came to us. We thought 20 seasons, 14 years, hundreds of episodes, lots of spinoffs. It's so weird to think that when we started the show, there was barely Twitter. There were no other social media platforms. There was no Instagram. There was no Snapchat. There were no grandchildren. People weren't married or divorced. It's just so crazy that all of this has happened. And to look back and think I have the most amazing home movies in the world." So that was super cool. And then Chris also admitted again that Khloe has been taking the show, ending the hardest. And then Ellen asked Chris about the rumors surrounding her joining the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for next season. And Chris officially shut down the rumors. She said, quote, "I would do it just to go on once in a while to be with my friend Kyle Richards. But as far as me doing a show like that regularly, there's just too much going on in my life. And they don't need a Kris Jenner on that show. They're doing just fine." So Chris ultimately was just confirming things that we already kind of knew. But first off, I want to talk about, the revelations that when they started Keeping Up with the Kardashians, there was no Twitter. There was no Instagram, no Snapchat. You couldn't really track them if you weren't watching an episode. Like, isn't that crazy to think about?
I just want to say, Alex, it is completely insane to think about. And for those of y'all that are too young to remember, AIM, screen names, and CD-ROM, the only way really to keep up with celebrities, Alex, before blog culture blew up the way that it did, girl, was you had to go and get the magazines in the supermarket. So what I would do, girl, is I always was good at finding ways on getting free magazine subscriptions. So I would have like all of the girls, Elle, GQ, all of the rags like delivered to my house like all the time. At the time, National Enquirer, girl, stayed in my mailbox, girl. And that was the way that you kept up. And now it's like everything is so instant. Like you don't have to wait to go and get your Reese's from Walmart before you see like Kim's face on a magazine. It's so strange, but I'm glad that like we were able to have our toes like in the past and now in the future, because there are some kids that just grow up with internet culture, but I feel like definitely growing up, I didn't have it for a period of time, and we sort of like evolved into it. So I'm always grateful that I was born the year that I was born, because it's just like right on the cusp. And I feel like millennials definitely have an open mind because they can see the future and the past.
Yeah. What's interesting, there's two things that are really interesting to me. One of them is that to think how many storylines were created from drama we saw on social media, like seeing Tristan in the back of an Instagram story or seeing, someone in the photo that shouldn't be in the photo and causing rumors and all of that. I'm also interested to think that would the show be so global if it wasn't for social media. You know what I mean? If the show was just on American television, would the Kardashians be this Kardashian empire? Isn't that weird to think about?
It is really weird to think about. Social media definitely helped a lot, Alex. It helps amplify their businesses. It helps amplify their drama, even whether it's good or bad. Like, we only would get half of the story if it were just television, and that's it. You know, because we spill the tea from behind the scenes over in our corner of entertainment, and then they do whatever they're gonna do over there. You know?
Yeah, it is crazy. But speaking of Tristan, basically Khloe and Tristan they're continuing their campaign to fix Tristan's image with the public, so to speak. An insider recently told Us Weekly that, quote, they have been acting like a married couple and are so comfortable with each other. Tristan has been a great dad. Things are really coming around, and Khloe is hopeful about their future. So an anonymous source told Us Weekly that. All signs so far have been pointing toward Tristan being in the good graces of the family and with Khloe. So what do you think about all of this? You know, some people are saying that, you know, the season could end with a marriage between Khloe and Tristan. I don't think the entire Keeping Up with the Kardashians will end with a Khloe and Tristan marriage. I just feel like there's so much more than just that it'd be weird for the fans to end on that note. What do you think, Courtney?
First of all, let me just say, just to keep it real, Chrissy, you better not. I wanted to ask you, would you prefer, or would it be interesting for them to do an ending that's almost kind of like borrowed from The Hills? So there's like two endings to The Hills, one with Lauren Conrad, one without. And they sort of like, we spoke about this recently, where they sort of like panned out and you saw all of the set and stuff like that. What if they did something like that, where like they were filming at a restaurant and Kim and Chris are like, well, this is it. And they get up and they go to get in their cars, and you sort of see the production like unhooking the cameras from the cars and stuff. And they get into their car and they drive off into something, or all of the girls are in a big car and they don't have a top and they just like drive off into the hills. Like, that would be an interesting ending, not Khloe and Tristan getting married. Save that for the Facebook series we're not going to watch, you know?
Right. That's going to be like a spinoff. You know what I mean? That I want to see what you first said. I want to see the cameras coming down. I want a movie ending. I want to really close my Keeping Up with the Kardashians chapter, and I want a great ending. But what would be funny is if like all the rumors that we ever thought, like everyone involved came to the end. You know what I mean? Like good and bad. All the relationships.
Ryan Seacrest to say something in, girl. Like and then that was it. Or like the book of Kara Jenner is closed, or like something like, well, that's it, you guys. Like, you know how Ryan Seacrest be. You know, I want him to, say a little something.
Secret voiceover. That's how we'll end the season. Yeah.
Give a little Lauren Conrad.
Yes, totally. But again, happy that they are in a decent place, that he's being a great dad. These are positive things that we want for True. So again, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out on the show. But they seem to be going strong, practically married, as the source says. So practically. All right, well, let's move on to some other members of this family that are doing some interesting, horrible things. So Scott Disick and Brody Jenner have found themselves in deep trouble regarding a new app with a facial recognition software. So the app is known as Gradient, and it allows the users to find out how you would look like if you were born on a different continent. This in practice ends up altering like the user's image to appear as a different race. So Scott and Brody both posted promotions for the app to their social media accounts this week with the results they got. You can see here, sparking an outcry from fans accusing them of being racist. Comments such as, quote, "How are so many people replying to this with an actual answer instead of being outraged that it's completely racist?" Another user wrote, "You're basically asking people which ethnicity is better. Wow, it's not too late to delete this, Scott." Another person said, "Why would you promote digital blackface?" Now, Scott and Brody both declined to comment in response to this outrage, and their comments have been turned off on these posts. So T Tribe and Courtney, what do you think of this app, and why on earth would you post something like this?
Let me say this, Alex. I'm not an influencer, right? However, brands think I am. So you always have a choice. You know how many brand deals I done turned down, girl? You already know I don't update on my Instagram like that unless it's something like important. I just feel like you don't have to accept every bag. I don't care how much money it is. Because, girl, I have turned down some bags just because I know that what I say up here is important to y'all. And how can I say something profound up here and then do the opposite on my social media? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they would even consider accepting money for something like that. That truly was in poor taste, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was in poor taste. It's a little tone deaf to, the movements going on. Like you said, they have a choice, and it's really just right from wrong. I think it was completely inappropriate to promote this, and I'm not here for it. T-Tribe, let us know your thoughts on
Salty Talentless merch.
Exactly. Would you download this Gradient app? What do you think about this? Wesley's saying not every bag is meant for you. You can choose the bag that's right for you. He's kind of echoing your point, Courtney. Chris said, I don't see the point in this app. Who would use it? I know it's a little it's odd. Cecilia's saying just seems like a stupid app too.
I agree.
Yeah. So obviously they know. Turning off your comments, you did something wrong. You don't want to hear it.
You done signed paperwork, so now it's like, well, y'all can say what y'all want, but after 30 days, that money will be in my account, and girl, y'all won't even remember this until Courtney and Alex bring it up again. So,
of course, we are cutting it close per usual. So let's get into our own reason why you're all here. We're talking about Kanye and this crazy, just everything that's going on. Okay, so Kanye is putting his money where his mouth is. First up, this is some positive news. As he continues to go to war with the music industry regarding music rights, he announced via Twitter yesterday that he would be returning 50% rights of the masters he owns with the signed artist to his label Good Music. In a tweet sent out yesterday, Kanye wrote, quote, "I'm giving all Good Music artists back the 50% share I have of their masters." Now, this came with an outpouring of support for the move from fans and artists alike, including Big Sean, who tweeted back, quote, "Thank you, this would help so much." But Kanye, of course, wasn't through tweeting there. He also had at least two other big revelations from this tweet storm yesterday. He said, quote, "I'm wearing Jordans till I'm on the board of ADIDAS." And then he also tweeted, "I'm not releasing nothing on Gap till I'm on the board." So Kanye has had a profit-sharing line with ADIDAS where he sits as the design lead since 2013. Since Kanye's involvement with the brand, ADIDAS has seen brand and revenue resurgence. Obviously, he's been, a positive impact for the brand. Kanye reportedly takes around 11% cut from Yeezy's collaboration with ADIDAS Yeezy, which since 2015 has released apparel, as well as the popular Yeezy Boost sneaker line. Forbes estimates that Yeezy directly sold $1.3 billion worth of footwear with ADIDAS in 2019. So, of course, he also has a deal in the works for a fashion line with Gap. We reported that. It's 10 years. It's about $100 million. They've been suffering a decline for a couple of years now. So, he can, obviously, they hope to do this with their brand as well. But with news of the deal drop, Gap saw a jump in stock prices of 40%. So, what do you make of these new revelations? First, let's talk about, the music, giving back the 50%. How do you feel about that, Courtney?
I mean, it's definitely a move. And if the artists are appreciative of it, then absolutely love it. At least Kanye's making some sort of positive move in the midst of all of this, because we don't really have a lot of positive news about Kanye, lately, recently, what have you. But this is a good move. Give it back to them. If Big Sean says go for it, and designer is like, "Panda, panda, give me my coins back," then I'm here for it. If they're okay with that, girl, you know I'm more than okay with that. Give the artists what they worked for.
Right. Yeah, I agree with this too. I think if Kanye's gonna, speak out about this and demand it, then starting with himself and kind of acting on it will only, bring his point further into the light and have others follow. So I think that this is a positive thing coming from Kanye. Do you think he has a shot at getting on the board of these two brands? Do you think it's right for him after already kind of announcing it to say, I'm not going to do anything until I'm on the board? Like, he already kind of signed the deal. You know what I mean?
Do Gap and Adidas do we think that Gap and Adidas will say all press is good press? Because I feel like he's just bringing like a lot of negative attention to the brands, but they may feel like, as long as the people buy the clothes, there's an audience for it. So as long as there's an audience for it, they may let him on the board, girl, just to get him to move on to something else that doesn't involve him tweeting their names out repeatedly. I don't know. We'll definitely have to see, but it's a weird situation, girl. He's almost like bullying them into like, putting him on the board. And then once he's on the board, then what happens? Who knows?
Exactly. And we know, he's had erratic behavior lately. Like, is this, a safe bet for the brands to put him on the board? And, they'll have to listen to him and, what he says. And so I'm interested to kind of see what the brands do about this, because if he's really serious about this, we may not see a collaboration or the collection come to light for a while, because this may be an ongoing conversation. But we will stay tuned. Of course.
Stuff from Gap and Adidas after this, the new stuff. Are y'all gonna support that? Leave it in the comments and tell us in the chat. I'm very curious to know.
Me too. All right, T Tribe, that's the show for us today. What a fun show. Of course, we had a lot of tea to spill, and then hanging with Naz Perez for Watch With Us. We got to check out all those recommendations. They were good. But of course, we will be back tomorrow, same time, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, for Shambong Friday, to have a little champagne. And if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you need to do to make sure we can bring you the morning tea every morning. And Courtney, if they want a double dose of you, where can they find you?
If you want more of me and more pop culture news, mess, etc., all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on social media. Just take my name, Courtney Revolution, type it up top, and girl, all the goods come right on up. Where can they find you, Alex Schiffman?
They can find me, just like my name, on all social media at Alex Schiffman. And on that note, Courtney, it's time to wash this tea off our hands and stay healthy, my friend. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Alrighty, we'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Shambong Friday. And now it's time to wash your hands, Leo. You better wash your hands. Just wash your hands, Miss Ma'am. Just wash your hands.